First of all, during the recess, we got news of some changes that have been effected in the leadership of the minority. As it were, we felt that it was just the normal rumor because we didn't expect such changes, particularly that it was not a fair in terms of representation from the North. But today, when we came into the chamber, we observed that, in fact, some changes have been effected in terms of the certain arrangement, where Haruna Idrusu as the minority leader and Honorable Muntaka as the minority chief whip used to sit. We have had new people who have to sit there. And also following the statement by the Speaker to the effect that he has received some correspondence from the NDC party effecting some changes, made us to believe that the rumor that we heard during the recess is true. And so we said that we need to let the public know that we've had the news, but we think that it is not a fair statement. It is not a fair change because you have 5 northern regions who contribute significantly to the progress of the NDC in terms of presidential vote and in terms of numbers in parliament. Out of the 57 MPs that we have from the north, 37 of them are from the NDC side. And so for you to effect changes and take out the northern representatives on the minority side, we think that it is unfortunate, it is unfair, and it's unacceptable.
Not only was it unfair, it also lacks fair representation.
Because if you look at Chapter 6, Article 34 of the Constitution of Ghana, which talks about the directive principles of state policy, it says that the directive principles of state policy contained in this chapter shall guide all citizens, Parliament, the President, the Judiciary, the Council of State, the Cabinet, political parties, and other bodies and persons in applying or interpreting this Constitution or any other law in the taking and implementing any policy decisions for the establishment of a just and free society. And we think that Ghana is a free society. And so the NDC in arriving at such a decision should be fair and should act in accord with the directive principle of state policy by ensuring that there is fair representation. And the 5 northern regions, at least, should have been represented. The Zongo communities in Ghana, which contribute significantly to the votes of the NDC, should have been represented.
Again, the process is problematic.
The process of the change itself is problematic because in every political party, there are processes through which you make your changes. And NDC as a political party has structures. It has its National Congress, which is the highest decision-making body. It has National Executive Committee, second highest decision-making body. It has Functional Executive Committee. And as you heard, all the NDC members of parliament have said that none of these bodies was part of that decision-making. So who made that decision? Who made that decision? It wasn't the National Congress, it wasn't the National Executive Committee, it wasn't the Functional Executive Committee. So somebody or some few people undemocratically decided to remove Haruna because he's a Northerner, decided to remove Mutaka because he's a Zongo man, and that is not good for our democracy because we have to be fair and we have to ensure justice in the practice of our democracy.
The party they lamented is not being democratic.
NDC is so undemocratic. I think there are tendencies from the PNDC are still taking root in their party, and they can, through any means, remove people in positions. And that clearly suggests to you that they are not an alternative to be form government. Because if you form government and you go through these kind of processes in removing your leaders and appointing people, certainly you cannot govern the country. Now, it is also important for you to recognize that Haruna Idrusu, as minority leader, by virtue of his removal, he has been removed from several committees on which he was serving. I mean, you can talk of the appointments committee, you can talk about business committee, Interparliamentary Union, Standing Orders Committee, among other committees. Seven committees he has been taken off by virtue of this decision. And you all know we are human beings. You know what it means. You know the structures in Parliament, and you know the office accommodation of leadership and other ordinary members of Parliament. And by this decision, you know the humiliation the NDC is causing Honorable Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka and their constituents, the offices they occupy, and where they are taking them to now. And we are even reliably informed that this morning there were attempts to lock him out of his office. Yes. And that is very unfortunate. I mean, they are harassing the former minority leader. They are harassing the former chief whip of the NDC side, and we think that is unfortunate, and we have to let the media know.